Hello and welcome to High Point Music's Gear Reviews. I'm Lewis, and in today's episode we're breaking open the Fuzz Vault and I'm going to be showing you the La-Synth Mangler. So the Synth Mangler is a noise fuzz, or a fuzz that is used to generate weird sounds in addition to its fuzz capabilities. This makes it a textural effect or a textural tool you can use to add some interesting sound and different flavors to lead lines or riffs with that glitchy, noisy kind of sound that it can produce. It does have some pretty normal fuzz sounds in it as well, so I'll show you a few basic or classic fuzz sounds and then a bit more of the weirder stuff. My clean tone sounds like this in the bridge pickup. And my neck pickup. We're running into the Synth Mangler, out of the Synth Mangler straight into our 2 notes La-Clean, and that's running off to our recording system. So we turn the fuzz on. I'm going to start with the gain at it right down low, and some basic sound. Gain knob there, and it's making noise. So you'll notice that it has a joystick instead of a gain control. This function is pretty cool because it gives you some ability to find some settings that you probably wouldn't pick with the knob. Just a different way of controlling it makes you approach it a bit differently, which is pretty awesome. The gain of this channel, of Fuzz 1, is operated in the vertical axis, and the gain for the second channel is the horizontal axis, which we'll get into a little bit further on. We've also then got a master volume here, and then we've got 2 noise modes, a chaos mode and a glitchy, weird kind of volume swell mode. We had that fuzz there where it's just starting to make a bit of noise. Push that up a little bit. So you can keep that kind of reasonably normal fuzz sounding, classic fuzz sounding. It reacts to your picking dynamics. You can hear those notes starting to bloom a little bit. A little bit of envelope kind of filter going on there when you first attack the strings. Getting a little bit thinner and bitier sounding as we turn that gain control up. And now you're really hearing that note change as it sustains and decays. Honky's a good description for it, yeah. But you can hear it really lends itself to lead lines a bit more than chords. Yeah, it doesn't like the D minor too much. It's a bit busy, but there's some pretty cool ways to make your lead lines stand out in the mix. It's got some really interesting sounds as those notes decay. So if you're playing a bit lighter or less notes, you're really going to still fill up that mix and create a really interesting texture of sound. So we'll move into the chaos mode. I'm going to bring the gain back down. So we're just going to punch that on. It's going to make noise straight away. Now the interesting thing about the Synth Mangler is this gain control is actually right at the start of the circuit. So all of that variable between a mild sound to the wild sounds is adjustable because it has input gain control. And therefore, if you use the volume knob on your guitar with it, you can tame that oscillation and feedback right down like I did then. So if I roll my knob forward, you can kind of use it to cut those notes off a bit more. So volume full. The sustain just keeps going. If we back it right off, that note decays and changes much faster. Into those glitchy sounds that are a little bit hard to control. So we'll go to the next switch here. So I'll turn that off. And then we've got this one on. Guitar back. As soon as I stop playing, that feedback or self-oscillation is occurring. You can kind of use as a drone note, but it's a little bit hard to pitch. The only control you've kind of got over it is that joystick control. But it's pretty cool for those glitchy kind of sounds, especially when you add in the chaos switch as well. It's hitting all those octaves and giving you those really crazy glitchy kind of sounds. So not your traditional fuzz pedal. It has some traditional sounds in it, but definitely lends itself more to soundscapes and lead lines and really aggressive and bold guitar tones. One of the other great characteristics of this pedal is its ability to kind of randomly generate glitchy noises and pops and clicks and all these other weird sounds amongst what you're playing. There's a level of randomness to the way it generates these tones, and because it does it randomly, you get that organic, natural kind of feel from something that doesn't sound natural at all. So really interesting and creative way to add some texture to your lines. It does have two channels. Now the second channel acts the same way as the first, the difference being that when you run that second channel as well, you're going to combine the oscillation and feedback effects from channel 2 into channel 1. I talked about how the volume control of the guitar affects the fuzz channel in its sensitivity and its glitchiness. So when you run two of them together, you really get that accented sort of sounds in those chaos modes. So both fuzzes on. Turn the gain up on both of them. And it's reasonably noisy. But if we go to the chaos mode, and it'll make a silly noise straight away, but that input is getting hit so hard, that's clipping right the way out of the spec. In the second mode, really cascading in, and then we can add those other noise modes. And the last one on, and it's pretty much just going to do this kind of noise. That self-oscillation feedback noise, of which you get a whole bunch of different combinations with those switches. So there's a very quick run through on the La-Synth Mangler. As I mentioned, you've got some great options for creating sonic textures. It really adds some interesting tones to your lead lines and riffs. It's a little bit hard to control, so you probably need to think about the notes you're playing and the way you're playing them. Lead lines more than chords in the more extreme settings. And certainly if you're going to be playing long sustained notes, the droning of the unit won't make as much of a difference. But if you're trying to play some staccatoed lines, some accented lines, then you're going to need to be a little bit mindful of where your noise modes and things are set, because that drone will come through as soon as you stop playing, and it may not be in tune, which may or may not be your thing, but it's something to consider. So great power in its classic fuzz sounds. It's not a huge range, but you definitely can get it. And then of course the crazy, weird, glitchy noises are amazing. You can use this pedal without a guitar plugged into it. It will self-oscillate like that. And then from there you could run it into some other effects or a synthesizer through it. Its ranges are pretty big. So I'm a big fan of the Synth Mangler, obviously. It's a really great pedal if you get the chance to have a play with one or add one to your collection. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Let us know in the comments if you've got any questions or suggestions. You can check out the blog where I'll go into a little bit more detail about the modes on the High Point Music website. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.